remember the night vividly, the one when my grandma shared with me the scariest story I'd ever heard. It was a cold, rainy evening, and the power had gone out, leaving the house in eerie darkness. The only light came from the flickering candles Grandma had set on the coffee table. The rain pattered against the windows, and the wind howled through the trees outside. It was the perfect night for a story. "Have I ever told you about the old house at the end of Birchwood Lane?" Grandma began, her voice low and mysterious. I shook my head, feeling a chill run down my spine even before she started. "What house?" I asked, trying to sound brave, but my voice quivered a little. "It's been abandoned for years now, but when I was a little girl it was the talk of the town," she said, her eyes narrowing as she recalled the memories. "People used to say it was cursed." "Cursed? Like haunted?" I whispered, leaning in closer. Grandma nodded slowly. "You could say that, but it was more than just ghosts. Something evil lived in that house, something that no one could explain. People avoided going near it, especially after dark." I felt a knot form in my stomach, but I was hooked. "What happened in that house, Grandma?" She took a deep breath, as if gathering the courage to continue. "It was said that the house once belonged to a man named Mr. Hargrove. He was a reclusive old man, rarely seen in town. The locals believed he was into some sort of dark magic. They said he used to perform strange rituals in that house, trying to contact spirits from the other side." I couldn't help but interrupt. "Did he succeed? Did he actually contact spirits?" "Some say he did," Grandma replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But the spirits he called upon weren't friendly. One night there was a terrible storm, much like tonight. The townspeople heard screams coming from the house, but no one dared to go inside. When the storm finally passed, they found the house empty, except for Mr. Hargrove's journal." "What did the journal say?" I asked, my heart racing. "It was filled with strange symbols and passages written in a language no one could understand," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "But there was one entry, written in English, that everyone could read. It said, 'I've made contact, but it's too late. They're coming for me.'" A shiver ran down my spine, and I pulled the blanket tighter around me. "What happened to Mr. Hargrove? No one knows for sure," Grandma said, leaning in closer. "But the house wasn't empty for long. A few weeks later, a family moved in. A husband, wife, and their young daughter. They had no idea about the house's dark history." I felt my heart sink. "Something bad happened to them, didn't it?" Grandma nodded gravely. "They were fine at first, but strange things started happening soon after they moved in. The little girl, Emily, began talking about an imaginary friend she called Mr. Black. At first, her parents thought it was harmless, but then she started saying things that no child should know." "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely audible. She knew things about people in the town, dark secrets, things that even the people themselves had forgotten. Her parents were terrified, but they didn't know what to do. Then one night, Emily's father woke up to find her standing at the foot of his bed, staring at him with blank, lifeless eyes. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. "What did he do?" "He tried to shake her out of it, but she didn't respond. She just kept repeating, 'Mr. Black is coming. Mr. Black is here.' The next morning, they found her in the attic, sitting in front of an old mirror that had belonged to Mr. Hargrove." "What was she doing?" I asked, dread creeping into my voice. "She was smiling," Grandma said, her eyes widening with the memory. "But it wasn't her smile. It was cold, unnatural, like something was using her face to express its own twisted joy. They tried to take her out of the house, but she wouldn't go. She screamed and fought, saying that Mr. Black wouldn't let her leave." My heart was pounding now. "Did they ever get her out?" Grandma sighed, her expression darkening. "They did eventually. But by then, Emily wasn't the same. She never spoke again, never smiled, never even acknowledged her parents. They say she lost her soul to whatever Mr. Hargrove had summoned. The family left town soon after, and the house has been abandoned ever since." I sat in silence, the weight of the story pressing down on me. The rain outside had stopped, but the wind still howled, sending chills through my body. "Do you think it's true, Grandma?" She looked at me with a solemn expression. "I've always believed that some places carry a darkness that we can't understand. That house, it's one of those places. So if you ever find yourself near Birchwood Lane, do me a favor and stay away." I nodded, the fear lingering long after the story ended. Even now, I can't pass by Birchwood Lane without feeling a cold shiver. remembering the scariest story my grandma ever told me.